The production team behind Squid Game has released numerous behind-the-scenes videos. These offer exciting insights into how certain scenes from Season 3 were created. Let's take a closer look at this footage together, and I'll show you the clever tricks the team used to bring the show's spectacular moments to life. Ready? Then let's dive in. Let's start with the jump rope game. In one clip, we see Gi-hun apparently playing jump rope with a baby. Of course, it's not a real child. That would be far too dangerous. It's also clearly visible that the background is a blue screen. This was used so the blue area could later be replaced in post-production with the show's set design. You might be wondering why they use blue instead of green. In film production, both colors are used depending on the situation. In this case, green wasn't an option because the players' uniforms are green. This would have made the costumes blend into the background. Another thing you'll notice, the jump rope doesn't actually exist. It was entirely added digitally. So Gi-hun is only pretending to jump over a rope, purely imagining it. From another camera angle, you can also see that the bridge isn't actually high at all. There are safety mats beneath Gi-hun in case he falls. Now we see the game from the perspective of the other players. Again, the rope is not real. The actors had to perfectly coordinate their jumps without an actual rope swinging. One player stands out in particular. Player 435 jumps completely out of rhythm. He would have been out instantly if there had been a real rope. Next up is the scene where Min-soo is sedated. It kind of looks like he swallowed Thanos' pills. Here's an interesting detail. In the show, Min-soo takes off his shoes and carries them in his hands, so it seems like he's barefoot. But in the behind-the-scenes footage, you can see he's actually wearing 2 pairs of shoes, one on his feet and one in his hands. Most likely this was to protect the actors' feet since they wouldn't be visible in the final frame anyway. But not all scenes were easy to shoot. Some were actually filmed at great heights. In one clip, for example, a player is seen hanging from a tall bridge. He's secured with wires, and there are safety mats underneath him. Player 333 also jumps from above, again safely rigged in case anything goes wrong. Now let's look at this shot. The man here is the one who tried to push all the others off the bridge. Gi-hun fights him off to stop him and stabs him in the eye. The behind-the-scenes footage shows the exact moment. Interestingly, a stunt double was used for Gi-hun in this scene. That's not actor Lee Jung-jae. Why a double was needed for such a seemingly harmless scene remains unclear. Maybe the double's hands just looked better on camera. Before we wrap up the jump rope game, here's another fascinating detail. The iconic doll doesn't even exist completely in many scenes. Often, only her legs were real. Her upper body was added later using CGI. In one video, the actors are saying goodbye, and you can clearly see that the doll's torso is missing. In another image, Min-soo casually poses with the legs of a different doll. The rest of the body was apparently added digitally. This photo was also released. Player 333 is trying to carry player 222. Jo Yuri looks incredibly exhausted, like someone who just gave birth. Just to remind you, her character had just had a baby in the story. Now we're moving into the scenes just before the big finale. The frontman offers Gi-hun the chance to win the game by eliminating the others while they sleep. In these scenes, we see Gi-hun attempting to stab player 100, but Sae-byeok's words stop him. Now, to Sae-byeok's surprise appearance, she returns this season to deliver an important message to Gi-hun. Many viewers thought this was recycled footage from Season 1, but that's not true. The actress actually came back for the cameo. That's confirmed. In the footage, you can see her preparing for the scene, and in another, very cheerful photo, she's posing with another actor, one of the finalists who tried to take the baby but was later betrayed by player 333. And now to the grand finale. There are plenty of fascinating behind-the-scenes details. First of all, the platforms weren't built high up. They were close to the ground. The set walls also weren't made of concrete. They were painted blue to save costs. A blue screen is much cheaper and more flexible for post-production. Some scenes were still filmed at height. For instance, Thanos is seen hanging during one of Min-soo's hallucinations. Of course, secured by wires, with safety mats below. Min-soo's conversation with Nam-gyu was also filmed high up, with full safety rigging. Now for Gi-hun's big sacrifice, he lets himself fall backward into the abyss. The behind-the-scenes footage makes it clear this wasn't filmed from any real height. Behind him is a blue mat that was digitally removed later. The jump was completely safe. Here's another interesting detail. In one version of the scene, we see Gi-hun crying as he delivers his iconic line about humanity. But in the final cut, there are no tears. The actor explained that multiple versions were filmed, both with and without tears. The director said there was no single correct emotion for this moment. Each version worked in its own way. Finally, the scene with the frontman and the baby. Even though we never clearly see the baby, it's almost certainly a doll. In the same scene, we see the platform the frontman uses to escape from his brother. I assumed the elevator was CGI, but no, it was real and fully functional. At the very end, the making-of shows some emotional scenes from the final day of filming. The production team congratulates Gi-hun, and the director hands him a bouquet. Everyone applauds. It's a touching moment. In a particularly moving photo, we see the actor and director embracing. The two have worked together since season 1, and now they're saying goodbye.